I think one of the things I'm always working on is communication. And I think as a young administrator last couple of years, I think that I dropped the ball in some areas on that, I'll be quite honest. And I think that this year being overly communicative, it alleviates a lot of the reactiveness or concerns that staff will have when they don't understand something. And myself being explicit. We talk about being explicit in our instruction with kids. We also have to be explicit in our communication with students, families, and staff members. So I think communication is one that I'm very reflective of all the time. And also, being supportive. Am I supportive enough? Do we provide enough positive feedback and constructive feedback for staff?
I think that fear plays a huge role in the classroom, not only for students. I think that that's kind of a given, but also for teachers. There's a huge amount of accountability for teachers, and so for them to take a risk or to experiment or put themselves out there in a way that makes them feel vulnerable is not easy. They have to make sure that their scores are where they should be and that they're meeting the needs of their students and that they are ticking off all the boxes on their SMART goals and that they're implementing with fidelity any new program that's come in. They have such a full plate that they're trying to balance along with whatever it is that they feel deep down that they need to do to provide for their students, that all of that is overwhelming. So the idea of stepping outside that precarious comfort zone to try something even newer or more risky or to experiment in some way is sometimes paralyzing for teachers, and so they might not even do it. So our job is to support them and let them see that it is something they can try, and it might not work out. Chances are there's a good chance that it might not, but they'll learn something in the process, and their students will be better for it because they're needing to see us take risks and to see how we balance the overwhelm of life as we make our way through it.
Launching innovation and change is not easy because you also have to make sure that you're interweaving the standards and make sure that the kids are still learning while trying something new. I do have colleagues and administrators that I can lean on to, and my coordinator is very good about saying to me, are you sure you want to do that? Like, it's a great idea, but I don't want you to get overwhelmed. Because I do have a tendency, I think my biggest problem is to take on too much, to try and do too many things, because I always want to try something new. And I do have administrators who will say to me, maybe you should slow down, or maybe we shouldn't try that just right now, let's put that off for a month. So it doesn't have to be me alone. Everybody is willing to collaborate and work together.
I think that the more that we talk about what it is that we're trying to do in our own classrooms, the more that it makes us all feel safe to experiment and try new things. If we're staying in our own classrooms and not sharing, then it does not feel like an environment where you can stick your neck out and maybe take a risk or experiment in your classroom. So these opportunities for observations and conversations are giving the teachers the encouragement that they need to go beyond their own expectations.
I think that first of all, it starts with the teachers who want to open their classrooms to share their knowledge, but I also think that part of it is just the way education is moving, and the teachers here have grasped onto that and taken it and run with it. They know that students need to have the ability to communicate, to share ideas, to try out things and fail and maybe try it a different way. And so we've been able to model it ourselves. We're not afraid to fail. We want to try something new, and that has led to teachers opening up their doors more. We also have the opportunity to do some peer observations so we can move into each other's classrooms and observe what's going on, pick up great habits, try something new. We have professional learning communities, PLCs, where opportunities for teachers to get together in small groups to try and problem solve and try out new opportunities in the classroom. I think the administration has been very open to allowing collaboration. Nobody has, said that's not feasible or we can't do that. It's always any opportunity that's going to make the kids grow and learn, the administration is in favor of.
We've gone to more of a co-teaching model, and some of our faculty are struggling with it because they've never done it. Of course they're going to struggle. They've been educators for maybe 20 years, but they've never come across co-teaching. So finally, we said, what are some of the ways to improve? And they said, well, maybe we could just have some professional development time together. Could we have common planning as opposed to lunch duty? So we're working on ways, because those were their suggestions. And I find that when people come with suggestions and ways to solve problems, they take ownership of it. They feel like they're part of the team. And that's the biggest piece of it.
The biggest thing a teacher can do to foster innovative learning practices at the school-wide level is to share with their colleagues what they're doing, but to have an open door policy. The biggest thing is to just let people come in and go into other classrooms, and don't be afraid of when someone walks in your room what they're gonna see. That was hard. That was a hard concept for me to get. Teaching was a second career for me, so I always felt like I had to be on every minute of every period with all of the students, and I still struggle with that. And I always worry if someone comes in and they don't see everybody doing something exactly as they should be, what are they gonna think? And they're gonna walk away saying, boy, Mrs. House got no control over that class. But it really is just letting your guard down, sharing with your colleagues, opening your doors, letting people walk in and out, let it see it fall flat on its face, because then when they fall flat on their face, they won't feel so bad maybe. Just open door policy. Honestly, I think that all education needs to open their doors and share more. This past year, I've already had a handful of teachers come in, and then they send me a document with feedback telling me what they saw, and it's a really great piece of reflection for me. Because then I get to hear what they observed, and if it wasn't what I was targeting or trying to do in that class, I can review it myself.
You wouldn't be in this profession if you didn't want to succeed with students in student success. I think everyone always wants to improve. It's just a matter of communication and seeing that everybody gets on the same page. And I think with a strong administrative team that we have in place now, that communication has improved immensely. Everyone has something to bring to the table, and everyone is a part of the solution.